Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Got to tell you, when I go fishing, almost all the time when I'm alone, the one thing that I think about, and I'm really telling you the truth, I'm not just making this up because it sounds nice or bad or whatever, but I think about how could I take a kid to go out there, a kid that's showing interest in fishing, and take him out there and make him be able to do the very things I'm doing. Not make him, and allow him to be able to enjoy what I'm enjoying. And it doesn't come easy. A lot of the ways that I catch fish do take a lifetime's experience. You have to be able to manipulate it correctly, your lure as well as my speech. And the second thing is you need to be able to choose the right baits for the right conditions. But let me step back a bit and tell you what I've observed in my lifetime fishing with younger kids. And to me, it's one of the biggest challenges and priorities and gifts that I could ever have is to get more kids to at least be introduced in the outdoors through fishing. They may discover other things that they like more, but getting them outdoors is critical. But I think if I had to give one tip of how to make this successful, because if it isn't successful the first time you go out, and I'm not talking about you're successful in catching fish. If you aren't successful in creating an interest, stimulating a spark in that child of what they might enjoy as they go further, then they're never going to try it again, or they most probably wouldn't. So the first thing you got to really realize is that I think them being able to see something happening is more important. And let me go back to experiences I've had in a pond, taking kids from 4th to 6th grade fishing. Now that isn't too young, but it's at that sort of that primary point where you can really work or not work. And if they can see something happening, it's more important than all the big fish or all the numbers of fish that you could do. And what I usually see is after a while, waiting for something to tap on their line, they start to get bored. They need to see something. And so they'll start looking closer at hand. And there may be lots of little sunfish or minnows close by. They become their fixation. They become far more important than some lunker that's existing out there and isn't showing himself. So let them see what's happening. Second of all, if you have a bobber, and this is their first time fishing, being able to watch the bobber is so much more important than actually feeling a tap now and then. If they can see that bobber dip and dive in the water, it becomes fun. The other thing is they may enjoy just seeing other things around them, like frogs and turtles and snakes and things like that. And that's wonderful. Forget whether they're getting a big fish out there. People too often don't realize it is important. It is not as important how big the fish is as that they see one and catch one, even if it's a very little shiner or something. That's the real critical part. But more important than anything else is you try. You try to get a kid to go fishing, and don't try to have them do more than's reasonable, or they'll lose interest altogether. Until next time, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, one of the things that I've noticed through life, and it's constantly, not only do I notice it, not only do I remember it, but it becomes a key factor every time I go fishing. And that's what a fish does once they feel the point of the hook. And I want you to realize that they already know everything around them. They know their environment probably a lot better than we do our own. They know where every rock, every stick, every stump, every drop in the elevation is, and they will use that to their advantage. They'll rush into every one of these things and try to get the hook out of their mouth. The other thing a lot of times fish will do, and especially smallmouth bass, is as soon as they feel that hook, as soon as you feel the rod start to bend, they'll head right for you. I don't know how they know. They're very direction oriented. They know exactly where you are, even if they can't see you, and they'll start swimming full speed towards you. Well, their full speed is a lot faster than you can reel. You won't be able to hardly keep up with them. And then when they get just about to you, the hook will come out. Over and over and over again. Anymore, as soon as I hook a fish and it starts coming at me, I'm thinking, okay, my chances are maybe 10 to 20% I'm ever going to keep the hook into this fish. The other thing they will do is they'll use their body in every way that they can as an advantage. So one of the things that they'll do, they'll change directions immediately, thinking, and again, I shouldn't say the word thinking. I don't know what's going on in their neurons. But the point of it is they apparently sense that might get the hook out. The other thing they'll do is they will leap if they have the ability, and if they're the right species, they'll start leaping out of the water, figuring that every time they get into the air, they can shake their head violently. They won't have the same resistance in the air that they do in the water, and maybe they can shake the hook out of their mouth. I don't know. I keep saying that word think. But whatever they do, they've got an arsenal. They've got a whole grouping of tactics that they use. And we, while we might have had the advantage in the first place, we might have seen them, we might have seen a graph and know they're there, we might know that they're hungry, but once they become hooked, they have all kinds of ways of getting that hook out. And sometimes the very species we want the most has the most abilities to get away. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.